alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I want to play a game.
Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yussef.
And my name is Vania.
Put your balls on, Evan. We're going to Willy's.
Hi guys, we're back from a hiatus. Yay!
From a hiatus that was not by choice, that got extended out into a longer hiatus than we wanted. But we're back. We made it.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Lunar New Year.
Yep. You're the you're the tiger, right?
Tiger. You're the tigger.
Oh God. You're the tigger.
That sounds very offensive. Even though it's
now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, did they name them that on purpose? Like, as a joke? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are back.
Aside.
Yeah, we had to take some time off for some personal reasons. But, yeah, we made it back.
Mental health, pain, death. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Hopefully no death, but yeah.
No. We're back. We are re-upping on our content. So.
Yeah, back at it again with the white vans. Damn, Daniel.
Vania bringing the throwbacks in already. Like, what is it, like a 7-year-old meme at this point?
Oh, no. Road work ahead. I sure hope it does.
That one never gets old. Doesn't matter how many years has gone by. That one will never get old. But anyway, so this month we are doing what we call Hulu Horrifiers. So it's movies that you can find on Hulu that you can watch. Now, they're not exclusively, like, Hulu originals, but they're movies that, like, you know, if you're looking for something to watch, you're like, oh, that looks cool, it's on Hulu. There you go.
Yeah.
And, we decided to start off with a Nick Cage movie, because why wouldn't we? And we decided to watch Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Or Five Nights at Freddy's the movie.
Basically. Anyway, but yeah, we started watching Willy's Wonderland. I actually, it killed some time when I was at work today, so it was very interesting. But yeah, I have no words for this movie.
Here's what I can say about this movie. It's fucking bonkers.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Watch this movie when you're high. Call it a day. All right, we're ending the episode here, guys. Good night. No.
Oh my God. So, well, bye. That was it. Shortest episode ever. Okay, cool.
Put that in the newsletter.
Oh my God.
I couldn't.
We're doing the new system is 10-minute episodes. Or 10 minutes or less.
Yeah.
For those people on the go, they're like, I don't have time to sit down and listen to an hour and a half for a podcast. Give me 10 minutes.
Hi, Kyle. Name dropping again.
Don't go after the boy. Don't go after the boy so early in the episode. Didn't even give him a second.
Damn. He's listening to this episode. He's like, well, damn, V.
Already.
Yeah. Anyways, but same format. What we liked about the movie, what we don't like about the movie. What was their format? Shit. It's been a while.
That's how you know it's been a while when we don't even remember the format for these. But I remember it's stuff we like, stuff we don't like, favorite scenes, favorite characters, and then the favorite kills, and grave robbing facts. So it's all in there somewhere. And then final thoughts. But yeah, Willy's Wonderland. It's very basic, simple story. So Nicolas Cage, his car breaks down. He's like, they tell him, it's going to take us a while to repair it. It's going to be cash only. We have to wait on the parks to come in for your car. If you need something to do, can you clean this rip off Chuck E. Cheese for us for a whole night, and then
Basically,
we'll give you your
off-brand
car.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
And they're like, yeah, if it's all clean by the morning, we'll give you your car back. And what does Nicolas Cage do? He nods, and then he goes inside. Because
Yeah,
here's the first thing right off the bat. Nicolas Cage does not say a single word in this movie.
except grunts.
Except
Very
grunts
aggressive
and screaming, but that is it. Says
Yeah.
no actual lines of dialogue, which is interesting, to say the least.
It reminds me a lot of, you play a game and your character never says a fucking word and everybody else around you talks.
Yeah, you're that silent protagonist type thing.
Yeah.
Here
we go, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, it's a basic premise. The movie's fun to watch, but I don't feel like it's something that we would watch often.
Or we watch once and hope
Like
to God you never watch
yeah,
it
like I would
again.
revisit it like a couple of months from now, just if I have nothing else to watch, I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah, just because. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah,
Like,
but we'll get
it's
to
kind of
our
hard to.
actual thoughts at the end, though.
Yeah, it's like a little hard to
because we
describe.
don't-
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah, let's talk about things we did like about the film.
obviously Nicolas Cage. Even if he doesn't say a single word, his face is just so expressive.
Yeah.
And I just love his whole attitude, especially during the pinball scene.
There's a lot of them, to be fair.
Well, like the main montage where he's just dancing while playing pinball,
Yeah.
which it makes no sense, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is prime Nicolas Cage right there. That is peak right there. That and like his weird thing about like I think he always had like a timer on his watch to always drink a soda.
And
He goes through
to
like
play
8
pinball.
sodas and to play pinball.
Yeah. I thought that was a very interesting choice. Especially since this movie was actually produced by Nicolas Cage, which I was like, oh, somebody played too much Five Nights at Freddy's. But hey, why the fuck not make a movie kind of based on the kind of premise instead of a security guard or a janitor? Yay!
Yeah, because again, part of the premise is that the whole thing is that all the animatronics in this arcade or whatever like party places, they all come to life and kill you.
Yep, and they have a very interesting birthday song that they sing to you
A lot of
before
times.
they do. A lot of times. Yeah. I don't know if Chuck E. Cheese ever had a song like that.
I don't remember. I haven't stepped foot in Chuck E. Cheese in years.
I would only go back for the pizza. The pizza's fucking fire. The pizza at Chuck E. Cheese is fire.
Pizza
You
Chuck E. Cheese
can't.
was disgusting.
I love the pizza.
Oh my
at
god!
Chuck E.
Even as a
Cheese.
kid, I was like, I should not be eating this. This is gonna be killing me.
What is your favorite pizza then?
Favorite pizza?
Yeah.
Either Blaze Pizza or Flippers.
Such a hipster answer. Gross. Get out of here. God.
All right. If I say like fast food pizza, then Pizza Hut.
Anyways, we're dismissing that.
Strike that from the record.
Taking applications for new co-host. No, okay.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Anyway.
So what's something that you liked? Yeah.
I liked the really weird camera angles that they played around with to like convey like basically like he's basically like stepping into a very uncomfortable situation where he didn't find himself in, but he's like, hey, fuck it, what is what it is. And not only did it happen in the beginning, but it happened almost throughout the movie where it just showed like every action scene. It wasn't like stereotypical like wide shot. Everything was like just like at an angle to like portrayal almost of like a bigger person going against a bigger person. It's almost like man versus like monster, but except that it's
Yeah.
kind of like the animatronics and that kind of thing. I enjoyed the definitely the colors in this
Oh
movie.
yeah,
I thought they
the
were
color palette
very
in this film is great. Yeah, like the whole overall look of everything is really good.
yeah. And of course, you may agree or you may disagree with me, but I actually really much enjoyed the effects that were given to the animatronics, the way that they were moving, especially like the creepy ballerina chick.
She was the
Yeah,
scariest one. The ballerina, I think her name was like Siren Sarah. Her
yeah,
character was the best. Like out of the animatronics, I think that was my favorite one because she was like the actual creepiest one.
yeah. Everything else was a little, I mean, unsettling, but they were all supposed to be kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, like
Hmm.
ripoffs and Five Nights at Freddy's, what have you. But that the movement in that one was like super creepy, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed her character a lot. And I feel like that's the most like and not developed, but I feel like we she got a lot more screen time than even
Hmm.
the original Willy. So like,
Yeah.
it was kind of hard not to like not like her kind of thing.
Something that I actually liked and I wasn't expecting is the reason for why the animatronics were killing people.
Yeah,
Which I was like, okay, that was crazy. So, okay, if you guys
but
haven't seen it,
they
this is a spoiler alert. So like, keep that in mind. If you have seen it, then definitely recommend it. You know, if you haven't seen it, then come back later after you do watch it. But um, the reason that the animatronics are killing people is back in the day, the actual guy Willy, when he opened the Wonderland thing, he was actually a serial killer. And his whole deal was that he would bring in other serial killers and they would go to, I think it was called like the Happy Fun Room, and they would just kill people in there. And
family.
family. So yeah, they would invite the Torettos.
God,
They would invite the Fast family.
um, this episode is canceled. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I was like, why? What? We come back from a hiatus and you ruin it automatically by bringing freaking family. You know.
Right off the bat, I gotta bring in Dom Toretto into this. um, but then I think it's yeah, when the police come in and when they find out everything that's going on, they realize that oh shit, all the serial killers made some sort of satanic ritual and then killed themselves. And what they ended up doing was transferring their souls over to the animatronics. So literally, all the animatronics are actually serial killers.
So basically, Child's Play meets Five Nights at Freddy's.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, I like that. It was different. It was interesting. I wasn't expecting a satanic ritual with serial killers to be part of this movie.
Yeah. The only thing that damn, I should really leave that for the things I didn't like. But I guess I'll wait on it. But
Yeah.
other than
The
that, it's like the color palette, the angles, the ballerina chick.
hmm
Um, just the conveying of the story was simplified enough.
Yeah, it's easy to
It
follow.
was
It's very easy to follow.
easy to follow, and it's just a fun movie that's not meant to be taken seriously, unlike
Hmm.
Conjuring and everybody else. It's just like a silly
It's just a
ass
ridiculous
movie.
movie. Yeah.
If you want to get high and watch it with your homies and laugh a little bit, yeah, basically, it's a horror film. It's that kind of
Yeah.
horror film.
Um. So I like it. Yeah, that's there's not like I said. This movie is very simple. There's not a whole lot to break down in it. But in terms of like the stuff that I didn't particularly enjoy, as much as I love Nicolas Cage and his facial expressions, I just wanted to hear him talk at least once, and I never
Hmm.
got that, and I'm like, shit, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Like not in a bad way, as like it made the movie bad, but it's just like it. I love his performances whenever he like screams and like goes off the rails type thing. So
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of took some of it away from the movie. Like it didn't have that much of an unhinged performance that he usually does.
yeah.
That and when it comes to the story, the major plot point as to what the people in the town do, which is just essentially, break it's what they do is they break, like when Nicolas Cage's car breaks down. Later on, you realize that they actually do that on purpose because they want him to go to Willy's Wonderland because they take them over there to feed them to the animatronics. My question is, why don't you just get a bunch of townspeople, give them guns, and just go to town and just destroy everything in Willy's Wonderland, or just destroy the place? Like, that could, everything, all the death in there could have been avoided so easily. And I'm like, the only reason they didn't do it is just so we could have a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that, I don't like that plot point.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I didn't like about this movie. Like, for example, I love Nicolas Cage, and like I like it when he does a lot of action. But this movie was not in it. Was not it for him because I feel like you produced the movie. Why do you feel the need to be in the movie when easily you could have taken out Nicolas Cage and the story would have been told the same way? If somebody, especially when they mentioned other people coming in, doing it on purpose, kind of thing. I feel like I get his presence was more for a comedic relief kind of thing, but it just felt like it was pointless. And even then, like if you watch the majority of the movie, he's not in it for like a good portion until we bring all the characters in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like he got 20 to 30 minute time out of the 90. So it's kind of like, all right. And then the reason why, with the killers, I feel like that was just randomly put in there. And I wish that they elaborated on it. Like, what kind of things would they do? Or, like, they could have easily started off with that in the movie. And I feel like the movie would have seemed a lot more interesting if we were reintroduced to the fact that they were serial killers. And then, we basically travel back in time, and then we are taken to present day, and we think that they're dead because they committed suicide, but, I feel like it would have been totally differently.
I kind of like that it's in the middle of the movie, because at first you're like, oh, it's just creepy animatronics, but then it, like, just takes you out, it just comes out of nowhere. It's like a nice little twist, like, halfway through the movie. So that's why I liked it. Because then I feel like if they put it right at the beginning of the movie, you immediately would know, oh, they just put their souls into the fucking animatronics.
Yeah, but how would they keep, coming back? Why is it abandoned later? Then you question why. Like, you don't show that part right away. I feel like it would have had a more compelling, where I feel like they just would have elaborated on it. I feel like that's what I feel like.
I didn't mind it. I like that they just did it in like small sections as like little expo dumps. Like, that's just how I liked it though. But it is what it is. I will say, the kids, like the people that are there to get killed, outside of the main girl, they were annoying as hell.
Yeah, I felt like the main girl, every time she talks, and I'm like, fucking Mabel from Gravity Falls, is that you? Like, damn, like, I feel like, oh yeah, they were really annoying. A lot of those kids were. I was like, like I wish they would have had a little bit more matured up in the attitude, because I feel like everything they were doing was stupid. You know what I thought they were? I thought they were kids that had experienced what happened, and they were trying to get revenge on the animatronics for like killing their parents or like whatever and that kind of thing, or they lived with some kind of trauma from the animatronics. But no, they were just some random kids or friends with Liv, and sorry, spoiler alert, when Liv's friends get killed, unfazed. She is unfazed. She's like, not mourning over them.
No,
like, she's like,
it's like,
I was like, so you're used to this.
Well, she's like, whatever. But then, like, because like you understand her motivation, because that's something that they show like right at the beginning. Because the first thing she's about to do is she's about to set fire to the place, but then she gets arrested.
Yeah, then the thing is, like, she's lived through trauma, so I feel like if the plot point was all of them collectively have gone through some trauma at that place and they want to burn it down, not just because they want to help her, I feel like it would have had a little bit more of a compelling story, because you want to know what happened to them, all that
'Cause,
stuff, but they were just there, and she was like, "Oh, my friends died. Great, peace."
yeah.
Like,
Because, like, the only reason they were there is because there was a guy that liked her that was just doing whatever she wanted to do, just to get her to, get her to like him. And the other ones were
yeah,
just following him, because they didn't know what else to do. So it's just like, eh.
nothing to do in this small town,
Yeah.
apparently. So, yeah. That's why it's like, this movie, like I said, it's cute for the most part. It's a cute
Yeah.
little horror film.
It's a nice little break from all the serious, like, dour and, like, ghost story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much something similar to, like, Killer Clowns or like, the first, like, the funnier, like, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky that are a little bit more comedic. Like, it kind of goes through that route.
Yeah, I mean, but Bride of Chucky has a little bit more to it, I feel like.
No,
Seed of
I
Chucky
don't.
was ridiculous. Seed of Chucky
But you know what
was
I mean, though.
ridiculous.
You know what I mean. Of like,
Yeah.
it's not a straight up just horror movie. Like, it has other elements to it.
Mm-hmm. This was over the walls, honestly.
Yeah, it was a bit strange.
Yeah, I was like,
It was
okay.
definitely wasn't as strange as Mandy or Prisoners of the Ghostland, but it was still strange.
Yeah.
This one was just more of like a horror action. It reminded me of Evil Dead a little bit. Of like a horror action movie type thing with like this
Don't
dude.
insult Evil Dead like
Not
that.
like no
Don't
with
insult
like
Evil Dead like
listen with like the basic premise of this guy in an isolated location getting attacked by random supernatural shit, and he has to just fight them off. That's essentially what Evil Dead 2 was.
that. Yeah, but
But I just mean that, like, just like the overall
Ash
like
went through
story
some
structure,
trauma.
like the
Ash went through
stories.
some
Oh,
trauma,
I
my
know he
guy.
did. But I mean like the overall like structure of it, like just like the
so-
literally like the bare bone stuff of it. It's just the same, but yeah,
Mhm.
detail wise, it's not even close.
It's like I don't know if I looked away during this time, like if I was doing something at work. What happened to the police lady?
Uh, she's one of the last ones to die. Willy straight up just chops her in half.
Ah, yes. I did see. I just was wondering if he chopped somebody else in half. Kidding. Well,
Yeah,
that was. I was like,
I will say this: the violence and like the gore effects were pretty good. Like the kills and like the gore effects were pretty good.
yeah. The only thing that it was just a little over the top for me is that every time Nicolas Cage would go like ham on the animatronics, like the oil would simulate the blood, and I'm like, why?
Oh, I didn't
Why?
care. I thought that was hilarious.
I was
You know
like,
what I thought it was funny? Because every single time he killed one, he would go to the back and just get another shirt. He would just kept changing his shirt. That's why he always looked clean the entire movie. Because every time he would kill one, he would just go to the back, take his shirt off, and put on another one.
I
So I
did
thought that
like
was
the
funny.
first kill though. The first kill,
Oh,
literally
with
like
with the two brooms, like the broomstick that he broke in half and just
yeah. Then
destroyed
he
the
like
shit out of that
ripped
thing.
out the
Like the
thing, like
spinal
almost
cord
like a
thing.
vertebrae spinal
Yeah,
cord. I was like, that
that was
was pretty
good.
good.
So it was like Predator. He's like, got it.
Yeah, you got it. It's like,
Yeah, I
alright,
like that
cool.
one. I did like the one with is the alligator? The one that killed the two kids that were having sex.
Yeah, that was the alligator.
Yeah, that one was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
felt like I was
overall
looking
the
at the
kills were
Mardi
fun.
Gras alligator.
Yeah, it was the Mardi Gras alligator from Universal, yeah.
Universal.
Over there, yeah, Nick Cage is over there like, feet don't fail me now.
Feet don't. We'll put that song with the scene is like feet
Yep.
don't fail me now.
Feet don't fail me now.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
That movie was interesting. But either way, those are things that we liked, we didn't like. There's just like this movie's just so straightforward and it's only like 90 minutes long. Like you can't the thing is this movie is fun. Of course, don't watch it with the mentality that's going to be like the greatest Nicolas Cage movie you've ever seen because it's
Yeah.
probably not.
It's different from the other stuff that he's done, that's why. Because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, he's usually known for these unhinged performances where he just has these moments where he just snaps and goes all over the place. This movie didn't have that. So that's what was weird. Like, that's why it's so different, because Mandy has that scene in the bathroom where he just starts yelling like a maniac after his wife gets killed. almost all of Prisoners of Ghostland, where he just threatens to karate chop people. Literally, he's like, "I will karate chop you," and then he just goes, "Hi fucking ya," for no reason.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that just wasn't in there. I'm like, I can't. I want that. Like that's for me is like what Nicolas Cage is all about.
Yeah.
So.
But the thing is, like, I'm going with this mentality that it's just gonna be whatever. But at the same time, what was I trying to get at with this? It's not a good. Okay, so this movie, it was entertaining just when it drags, especially with the Nicolas Cage scenes. It feels like this movie is long as fuck. I'm like, give me something good.
See, I
I'm
didn't
like,
mind the
come
Nicolas
on.
Cage stuff, but for me, it dragged when the other characters were on there, like the kids were on there, because
Yeah,
that for me just like I was like, I don't care what you're saying, like just die already.
yeah. I every time I was like looking at the timer on Hulu, I was like, I have 15 minutes left. It's like fuck. I'm like, but I just wanted to see a little bit more action, more stuff having to do with horror. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's just very weird. Like I
Yeah.
said, entertaining for the most part.
Oh yeah, but I didn't mind it. But like I said, it's something that like it feels like the type of movie that you would rent on a Friday night from Blockbuster, just because like you can't find anything else. So you're like, this looks cool. Like that's the type of movie it feels like a low budget, B movie type thing. 'Cause that's essentially what it is.
What's crazy is that the camera quality is good. The effects were great.
Mm-hmm.
The everything else was the costumes were obviously immaculate because they actually tell the story. Like tell the story within like the setting that they're in, but the storytelling garbage. Anyway. Garbage. It's simple at best, but like I
Yeah.
said, it's just something Seed of Chucky quality.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
else? I
because
don't know
like
what else to compare it to.
there's a point where if you make a film with a simple story, you don't want to make it too simple,
Yeah.
which is kind of what happened
Thanksgiving.
here.
Thanksgiving is another one.
Because
Gobble
it's
gobble,
like, yeah,
motherfucker.
I guess it's just too simple. Where you're like, all right, it happens from A to B, and that's it. Like, there's no other type of variation.
Basically.
But yeah, that's kind of what we liked and didn't like. Character wise, we kind of already added that to it with like the kids that we didn't like. Some of the Nick Cage stuff that was good. What did you think of the cop, the sheriff?
The old lady.
Yeah, so I thought she was just I thought she was just crazy.
I feel like it was random. Like, so I liked the plot twist. I just felt like the plot twists were just randomly put in there because it wanted us to care in some shape or form. Like, at first she was like some bitch that was like being mean to this girl who we think is a delinquent. But then we find out that she was left alive during that whole massacre and that she adopted her as a daughter like midway through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then she realizes what she's doing is wrong about the human sacrifices. And it's like
Well,
trying
not
too
really.
hard
She
for us
she
to
still doesn't really
care.
realize it
Yeah, like it's
because
like
she literally just
there.
holds Nicolas Cage at gunpoint with a shotgun. Like as soon as she shows
Yeah.
up to the Wonderland.
Well, like that's what I mean. Like with the lived during that entire massacre, and that she has to do with the whole the human sacrifices kind of thing, and she doesn't care. She's just like, I'm just giving them what they want. So like, the
I'm
the
just
world
feeding
doesn't have
them.
to suffer that much. Like
Yeah.
we're giving them strangers that the world is not gonna miss,
Yeah, I guess her,
kind
because
of
her thing
thing.
was, the people they were killing the people in the town, and to save the people in our town, we were just feeding them other people that were coming across, and just like people that wouldn't be
Yeah.
missed. And again, that's where I'm
So
like, why didn't y'all just make a posse and just destroy these things and then blow the building up?
yeah, and it's the same way at the towards the end, they came across that point, so y'all could have taken care of it, but y'all didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like trying for us too much for us to care to try to make that character a little bit more important than she should have
Mm-hmm.
been, and especially with her accomplice kind of thing. But
Yeah,
I said it's for the
the dude in the
sake of
cowboy hat and the obviously fake mustache.
Yeah, fake mustache.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's really all we have on like that segment. So we're gonna take a small break and we're gonna lead into our grave robbing facts.
Heck yeah.
All right, and welcome to our grave robbing facts segment of Willy's Wonderland, where we're gonna give you some behind the scenes stuff, some stuff that you might not have known, and just random little facts.
Yep. So basically, with the grave robbing facts, to elaborate a little bit more, it's something that we do on our episodes, or at least our every episode since we started doing them. We give you random facts that go behind the scenes, whether it be a haunt, television series, movie that we're covering. So you get to learn what goes into these productions, especially story wise, prop wise, set wise, whatever you may want to call it. So yeah, that we're gonna be doing Willy's Wonderland. So our first great Jesus Christ, Yussef. So our first grave robbing fact is that Liv's line, he's not trapped in there with them, they're trapped in here with him, is a reference to the character
Rorschach.
Rorschach. And the limited comic series graphic novel Watchmen, also adapted in the movie Watchmen 2009. So.
Yeah. So that was that. I as soon as they mentioned that they had that line, I was like, oh, that's first thing I thought of was Rorschach, and I was like, that's pretty funny. That was a nice little callback to Watchmen for no reason.
Yeah. Well, it has to be someone's favorite, so I think Nicolas Cage has some explaining to do, I guess.
But our next grave robbing fact here, as the janitor, who is Nicolas Cage, because they never say his name, they just call him the janitor. As the janitor is driving away, flames reflect from his sunglasses, reminiscent of the movie Ghost Rider, also starring Nicolas Cage.
I actually very much love that movie. I think that was like the very first I guess comic book character that I really liked in a movie adaptation, and I thought he was like the coolest thing.
Oh, because it was badass. It was a dude with a flaming skull for a head. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's like the movie that I enjoyed him the most, and it was like it was like so reminiscent of like my childhood. I love that. I didn't think of that though. I was like, oh, interesting. Like
Yeah, I was like thinking that too when he sees the explosion in the background. I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Ghost Rider. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So our third grave robbing fact is that Punch, the fictional energy drink a Nicolas Cage character drinks in the movie, has a text, "A fistful of caffeine for your kisser," on the can.
Well, yeah, because apparently Nicolas Cage has a caffeine addiction in this movie. Because he's just constantly drinking these sodas. It's constantly.
Sounds like me. Sounds like me on a daily. I drink 2 energy drinks and 2 cups of coffee a day.
I can't do that. I do the coffee, but I don't do energy drinks because those things mess me up. I can't do energy drinks.
Not for me.
I just can't.
Energy drinks now make me crash super hard after 2 hours.
Yeah, no, I just can't do them.
Damn.
Yeah, but anyway, our next fact. So the pinball dancer we were discussing earlier, that whole dance was actually improvised, which makes perfect sense because it's just Nicolas Cage dancing to some sort of song while playing pinball. As one does. And it's funny because when I'm watching that, I'm over here thinking dude, pay attention, you're gonna lose the ball.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was vibing.
He was just vibing, yeah. Having his soda and playing pinball and dancing. What more could you ask for?
It was a little cringy dance, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it was, but it's also part of its charm. Because I was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it also was really, really funny.
So our next grave robbing fact is the look of the crocodile animatronic was inspired by Soviet cartoon Gina the Crocodile. I see that. It was a 1969 cartoon. I remember that.
Back in Soviet Russia, they were like, you guys have Woody Woodpecker, we have Gina the Crocodile.
He sounded like that girl from that girl from God. I don't know. That girl from Wonderland.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah,
What was that one thing from Marvel that just came out?
Oh, Yelena.
Elena. He's like, hi, this macaroni is good for you.
I always put hot sauce in my macaroni.
Yeah. It's like having dinner with the enemy, that's crazy.
Funny enough, part of me was like, why does she sound like Gru?
Yeah.
That's
Or
crazy.
girls.
Gorls. Jesus Christ. But anyway, our next grave robbing fact here. Nicolas Cage produced the movie as he was very protective of the script. So I think so he had some involvement with the writing of the film. And I guess he didn't trust anybody to like get too involved with it, so he's like, I'm gonna be the producer here, so I want to make sure it gets done like the way I want it to be done.
Boy, you should have been a director, not a producer. But here we go.
Well, because what producer means is he just put up the money for it,
Yeah.
and he just put up the terms like he's like, I won't pay for the movie unless it's done a certain way. That's kind of that's just really what he wanted to do. So.
Yeah, well, he should have directed and produced it, but yeah, but the fact he technically directed it.
I mean, he would have produced, directed, and starred in it. But I'm okay with what they did with it, though.
Anyways, the movie name changed from Wally's Wonderland to Willy's Wonderland.
Now the question is why? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because it's never explained. I'm like, does it have to do with like the old vacation movie where it was Wally World, and they were just like, yeah, it's too similar to Wally World. Maybe change it to Willy.
Even with Willy's Wonderland, it made me think of like Willy Wonka kind of thing.
Yeah,
I was like, that was a little too similar to that
yeah,
too.
Yeah, it gives me some like Willy Wonka vibes.
Yeah, I was like thinking, I was like Willy Wonka, Alice in Wonderland, like had a baby, and this is the movie. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, but our next grave robbing fact here, according to the director Kevin Lewis, the movie is Pale Rider versus Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now, I've never seen Pale Rider, so I couldn't really explain what that is, but just adding Killer Clowns as a point of inspiration, I'm like, all right, you got the right idea. I can see that with like that kind of just dumb little B movie plot type thing.
Yeah,
that's what Killer Clowns is.
Killer Clowns I feel like it just has its own little charm because it was really, really silly, like to the point that it's an enjoyable but very iconic movie. Versus this one is kind of like I said, it's too simple. Like when you think of like clowns or like from outer space, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You would think clowns from outer space. I might as well make them come from a circus and have the same concept.
Yeah. I think that what he was kind of just going for is like that vibe of horror with really just random silliness added to it. That's kind of what they were going for, I guess. Yeah, sure. Some parts don't work, some parts do work, but
yeah.
But what's our next grave robbing fact?
Our last, but
no, not our last. Not the last one. We still got another one.
I don't see the other one, dude.
It's after the one that says the Killer Clowns, the Pale Rider versus Killer Clowns.
That's right. See, like you don't put that shit together. You don't put Killer Clowns from Outer Space twice. Might as well make it. Anyway, one of the producers, Grant Kramer, is the actor who played Mike Tobacco in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Now I have no fucking idea who Mike Tobacco is. I don't remember. I haven't seen Killer Clowns since like Horror Nights, so that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Man, I really hope one of our friends don't listen to this. They're like, how dare you?
Blasphemy.
The blasphemy.
You're excommunicated.
Fine by me.
Anyway, our last grave robbing fact. Siren Sarah is the only animatronic to be voiced by her suit performer, Jessica Graves Davis. The other animatronics are performed and voiced by different people. Nighty Night and Artie Alligator, however, have no voice actors. So they just don't say anything.
That's fair.
Yeah, I like that. Because honestly, she was the most iconic of the animatronics. I think she was the most fun to watch.
So. Yeah, me too. I agree.
Yeah. But before we finish our grave robbing facts, I want to do a little something interesting. So when I was looking up the facts for this film, something I didn't put on there is that this is Nicolas Cage's 8th horror film. If you guys can send us something on Twitter, or I'll put something on Twitter, and you guys can like quote tweet, retweet it or something, and name the other 7 horror movies that he's made, we'll give you a special shout out on the next episode. Not giveaway, because we can't keep buying shit, so because we broke as fuck sometimes. But we'll give you a nice little shout out, and then that way we'll get your name out there.
Yeah. I'll promote your shit if you have a business.
Or yeah, we'll promote you some. Yeah, we'll promote something for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the grave robbing facts, and like I said, the question for it was, this is Nicolas Cage's 8th movie. What are the 8th horror movie? What are the other 7 horror movies he's done? Now, they don't have to be in order or anything. Just list out all the 7 movies he did that were horror. And then we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, sounds good.
But those are our grave robbing facts. So let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Let's go.
And welcome back to our coverage of Willy's Wonderland. So we talked about the stuff we liked, stuff we didn't like, and some of the character stuff that we had in the movie. So now we're going to talk about some of either our favorite kills and some of our favorite scenes. So if you would like to start us off, Vania, what was your favorite kill in the film?
My favorite kill was definitely the one I said with Nicolas Cage ripping out almost like the robotic vertebrae off, or like their little like back thing off the little duck looking thing.
That was a good kill. I like that one.
That was a good kill. And then the other one that I also enjoyed was when he was basically killing the ballerina with his thigh, and but he didn't obviously fully kill her. But it was like between his thighs. I'm like, yo, that's super random. You're not even using your hands, my guy. Like, you could be using your hands, but here you were.
He was handcuffed, yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, and then...
Listen, he was like, these thighs could kill a person.
Yeah.
He's over here like, thick thighs save lives, but in my case, they end lives.
They end...
Thick thighs end lives, according to Nicolas Cage.
That's fair. And also at the end, when the ballerina
just explodes,
blows up the fucking car. I was like, damn.
I love that she has a one-liner where she's like, "Thank you for visiting Willy's Wonderland. Have a fantabulous day," and then she just blows them up.
Yeah, I was like, I like that.
That was good. I was like, that was fun. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say, yeah, I really like that kill as well. The first one with the duck getting the vertebrae ripped out, and I would say that one, and I think it was outside. I already said the alligator too. The gorilla one was okay. The one that he like smashes its face against the urinal and then like rips its head off. Yeah, like that was okay. It was just there wasn't anything too special about it though. It was just boom
for sure.
But yeah, I really like those 2 kills as well. They were pretty fun, and the alligator kill was nice too.
Yeah.
He just goes insane on that alligator.
You know what's crazy is that the kills that happened to the teens didn't stand out to me as much, and
they were pretty tame.
They were pretty tame. I was like, damn. Like,
except for like the one on the guy from that couple I was having sex where like bit his arm and like ripped his arm off. So that was pretty good. But outside of that, yeah, the kills on the kids were relatively tame.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, Yeah, like I said, very simple, very to the point. This movie with its kills.
Yeah, everything was like matter of fact. It was like, here it is, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, just you accept it for what it has to be. Yeah.
Essentially.
But overall favorite scenes that I actually really liked his like little cleanup montage when he's just cleaning random stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this is like every OCD person's like porn.
Because he's over there just like, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what I came here to do.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm just killing these things because they're attacking me. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep cleaning.
Yeah, he's like, Well, I stand my end of the bargain.
Yep. I
Me and my
love when like
car.
when the owner of the building goes in and he sees the stuff cleaned up. And he's like, son of a bitch, he actually did it. Because everything looks organized. And he's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's like, my hat's off.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, dude. Don't get wet now.
Yeah.
Don't get preemies. It's fine. Like he's like, that's a tough hombre. Like I was like, dude.
Yeah, he's like, that's one tough hombre. I love the fact that they're playing Freebird by Leonard Skinner, too. Like, when he's sleeping. Like,
Yeah.
that's such a good way to end it, because it just reminds me of Devil's Rejects. And there was, like, out of the kids, even though they were really annoying, there was one, like, small little thing that actually made me laugh a little bit. It's when they go over to Willy's Wonderland for the first time, and they knock on the window, and they're like, hey, like, to Nicolas Cage, like, hey, like, we're gonna get rid of this place, like, we're gonna set it on fire. Get out, because you're gonna die in there. And then he just looks at them and walks away. And one of the kids is like, that is just so rude.
Yeah, it's like,
Because he just
well,
stares at them and then he just walks away.
he's unfazed the fact that he
That
could
man is
die.
unfazed
He's
by
like,
anything.
yeah, he's like, no. But like I said, it's like with this movie, I wish, like you said, that he would have talked at least once or said like one liner that kind of stood out. But I
Hmm.
guess he really wanted that video game protagonist feel for it. That it was
Yeah.
just like,
What was interesting
um,
too, funny enough, at one point, what I was thinking was going to happen with the plot is that, because if you notice, when he fights that first animatronic, like, he doesn't get surprised by it. He just immediately, like, figures it out and starts killing it.
yeah,
My thought was that like halfway through we were gonna find out that he actually went there on purpose because like they had killed a family member of his or something and he was gonna get revenge. I'm like that would have been fun. Like that would
yeah.
have been interesting.
But no, he's just a random
He's just
bystander,
a random dude that just happens to be
unfazed.
like a Terminator style killing machine.
And doesn't even question. He's like, where? Like he sees like this animatronic
He
behind
just does
him,
not give a
just
shit.
talking or like acting creepy. He's like,
Does not give a
got
shit. He
it.
just kills it. Just like whatever. I don't have time for this. I gotta clean this place up before morning.
Yeah, did not care. No sir. Yeah.
But did you have any favorite scenes? Like that weren't just like kill scenes or anything.
No, not really. Other than the end killing scene, that was pretty nice. Like I said, it's just I really liked the backtracking into the backstory of the serial killers. I just wish they would have elaborated it more
Hmm.
because, like I said, it just felt it was slapped on there. Like, hey, by the way, these were serial killers, kind of thing. I was like, okay, great. Like, I wish they would have based it on some weird fun fact of like, a matter of fact, this actually happened in another country. Like, blah blah blah.
Mm.
But they just made it all fiction and shit. But it's like, nah, it's just like okay, but I like the going back in the past and also being able to like like these kids like hopping on these animatronics and the safety hazards and that's why we had to shut this place down. I was like, like
It kind of reminded me
okay,
of like Shitty's Kids from Slaughter Cinema.
yeah, dude,
Now I will say though, based on this movie itself, like the environments and everything like that,
yeah,
it would translate pretty good into a Horror Nights house.
yeah,
I could
I
definitely see
agree.
that as a Horror Nights house because you could walk into Willy's Wonderland and you'd see the animatronics, just kind of singing at first. Then they play the birthday song, and then you get to go into like all the different rooms, like the bathroom, the that area where the girl goes into, and like it's kind of like a foresty area where she
Yeah,
first sees the ballerina. Like that would have been cool. The
I
Happy
just
Fun
want to know
Zone.
where I feel like that scene where you see like the little foresty area. I was like, where did that room? We never see that room again.
No, it was just kind of
That's what's
weird. It was
crazy.
just
It was like,
there.
why did she just happen to stumble upon this room and nobody else did?
Out of nowhere.
Like Like, did Nicolas Cage even go in there to clean? Like,
I think he
I
went in
bet it
there at
gets
one point. I think he went in there at one point
to
because he
clean.
not to clean, but he runs into live in there at some point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That shit was just weird, but I did enjoy the aesthetic of it. I was like,
Yeah, so
okay,
it's
that's
I think it would translate pretty good into a house. Because like
yeah.
even with like the happy fun room, because that was all strobe lights and blood everywhere. I'm like that would look really cool.
Yeah, it just reminded me, like I said, of Slaughter Cinema,
Yeah. Plus
shitty
it would be
shit.
plus the actual characters would be creepy with like the animatronics and stuff
Yeah.
because they're different where they're not just people. It's different enough where it's just people in suits and all.
Even though like the animatronics didn't move a lot like people though, like I was like,
Hmm.
damn, like except for like the effects of the really fast paced effects, like you can tell
It was
there were
just people in
people
suits.
inside
Yeah.
those shoots. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is very cheesy.
Real quick though, can we talk about the Latino animatronic? The one that Liv beats the
Oh
shit out of, and he's
yeah,
like, "No más,
people.
por favor, no más."
No, mi
Just in
peloso.
Spanish, he's like, "I can't take this no more," and then
Yeah,
he does anyway because he gets run over at the end of the movie.
yeah. You can tell that he did like he didn't choose the animatronic life; it chose him. He's like, damn.
Which is funny because I actually thought that since he was left alive, I was like, oh, is that kind of hinting that we might get like a second one or something? But no, they just killed him.
Nah. I'm pretty sure people wanted a second one though, for
I'm sure,
sure.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it has like a cult following right now.
Oh,
Hmm.
really? I've never. I didn't hear about it until you told me about it. I was like,
Oh no,
oh,
I had seen it over on Hulu a couple times. So I was like, I gotta watch this at some point just because of Nicolas Cage. And when we were discussing like the themes for this month, I was like, oh, that's a perfect. Now I have the perfect excuse to watch it now.
yeah. It was interesting at best.
Yeah, 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 because like final thoughts wise, it's fun, it's entertaining. The story's a little too simple, where to the point where like it's just very shallow and it's just an excuse to have something happen with the fight scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
But and obviously like some of the characters were just god awful, like the teens. I hated the teens. So yeah, I think this movie might actually get my lowest rating so far. I would give this one a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry,
I
6 out of 10 headstones. Because we're using headstones. That's our point.
yeah.
That's how we use our point system here.
For me, it's a five for me, dog.
To each his own. That's your opinion.
Nah,
I
like
can
it's
respect
a
why.
like for aesthetically, cinematically, and music wise, it's great. It's visually like interesting and all this other stuff. Story wise, actors, everything else. That shit dropped the whole. All those animatronics knocked all those headstones down. It didn't put them up at all. They didn't. They didn't raise my headstones. They made my headstones go down, bro.
This is
Like
one
you ain't
down.
raising this cadaver. You ain't raising this cadaver. That's for sure. Nah, but yeah, for me it's like five.
Five. Okay. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's like I said, it's one of those things where it's a lot of fun if you like get a bunch of friends and just like watch it for shits and giggles. But like that's about
Yeah,
it, really.
yeah. Get high, watch it for shits and giggles, and because Nicolas Cage, and just for a good like here and there. But that's about it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really all we had on Willy's Wonderland. Like I said, it's not there's really not a whole lot to break down because there's not a lot to do in the film.
Yeah,
Um,
just watch it for yourself, especially if
yeah,
you're bored. Just like just go in, like I said, go in with the mentality like this, not to be serious. Just enjoy the movie, enjoy for what it is, and
yeah,
then
just be there,
whatever you
just
have
watch
on
it to
it.
be entertained.
Yes,
Yeah, but yeah, I think
and
this
Nicolas
is
Cage.
and Nicolas Cage. But I think this is what we're gonna call this one an episode. So we want to thank you guys so much for listening and putting up with our extended hiatus. So thank you for sticking around. But in terms of our stuff, all the people that are in the podcast, which is just 2 people. But anyway, Vania, where can we find you?
So you can find me on Twitter and on YouTube under HHN Cultist. I cover everything from makeup, haunts, Halloween Horror Nights related stuff, that kind of thing. I just put up a video not too long ago discussing hints around the park, which is getting like mixed reviews, but I don't care. I do it for the love of Horror Nights and just shits and giggles.
You're doing it for you.
Yeah, I'm doing it for me, and
Plus,
if people want to watch, great.
People got to laugh. People got to laugh at me.
Yeah, so
at me struggling with a gimbal, which I'm still struggling with, by the way. I don't know what's going on with that gimbal. I was like, let me play around with it a little bit today, see if I can figure out what's going on with it. I have no idea what's going on with that gimbal. I think it's possessed.
Yeah,
'cause it's acting up.
Well, we need a new gimbal if you guys love us.
No, I can
which is non-existent. Anyway.
I'm not gonna ask for somebody to buy me a gimbal. I'm not gonna do that.
It's a joke.
I'm not gonna do
Relax.
that. I'm a man of principle. I'm a man of integrity.
What integrity?
Shut up. My own integrity.
Anyways. But yeah, that's what I basically do on my YouTube. I'm trying to see if I can come back to content creating because I did miss doing that. And hopefully it's something that I can reignite within myself. So I did just recently release a video, but also we did as well. But there are other people in this podcast other than myself. So where can we find you, Yussef?
Yes, so I'm on Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram is Yussef1220, and then my Twitter is @itbeyusef. So you can check me out over there. And then for our lovely little podcast, for our social media, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sounds from the Grave. And then for our podcast itself, you can find us on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can get a podcast, you'll be able to listen to us. And then we also have our YouTube, which is another place where you can find our podcast, and then some other stuff that's on there, like the last video that we just posted where we did a walkthrough of the Universal Monster Store over at Universal Studios Orlando. Just great. That store was really pretty. It was great to look at. And then you can also see the struggle with the gimbal in there as well. So...
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to sit down and plan out what I'm doing, but I do have a couple of ideas for some new videos. Some of them involving horror timelines, where I'll take a franchise and like break down the timeline so people can like kind of keep up with it. Especially with something like, for example, the Saw franchise that is like a super ridiculously convoluted plot line. So I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun to break it down.
Yeah.
And not only that, even like the Halloween timelines, like the fucking multiverse apparently of Halloween. Now that is Halloween multiverse of madness right there.
But yeah, we're hoping to at least release a lot more content, within the podcast and everything else. So
for sure. But yeah, that's really all we have. So again, thank you guys so much for listening and for all the support and everything. We really appreciate you. And we will catch you very, very soon on the next either episode video or horror news of the week, because those are coming back.
Yeah, and another lovely holiday that's coming is Valentine's Day, but we get to cover something of another type of love. So, for a Hulu thing, so stick around for that. Yep. If you look at our newsletter, you'll know what movie that is. So.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna thank you again, and stay spooky.
Stay spooky.